Hi, I'm Dr. Drake Travis, and I am starting a healing series here today. And this is something that has been on my heart for most of my life, for almost 50 years, I would say. I'm going to be 60 before long. Where did the time go? Dumb question. I want to just give you my greetings. I am in St. Augustine, Florida today, and it's kind of fortuitous that this starts here, because people came here 500 years ago and more because they heard about a legendary fountain of youth. There were some fountains of youth in Puerto Rico, and the area was kind of a buzz because people want to feel young again. They want to feel well. They want to feel strong. They want to feel beautiful and bright and clear-headed and strong, and they just want to feel good. And so it's interesting. We start here, but I'm doing this, and it's going to be a number of videos that I hope you find helpful. This era that we're in today, it's interesting that the healthcare debate just won't quiet down. It won't get silent. People, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? It's interesting that people will spend most of their fortune in the last months of their life just to live a little longer. I think that is so interesting. One family I knew, the guy had saved up about $500,000. He'd been gone for a while, and he spent over 80% of it the last 6 weeks of his life just to live a little bit longer. And his family, oh, go, yeah. They didn't want him to die. It's amazing that pediatricians make so much more than veterinarians, because with their pet, they've got a cutoff. $200, that's it. We're not going to spend any more. Sitting up a little straighter here. But pediatricians, they make a little more, because people never say, that's it, don't spend any more money on my kid. They'll spend anything on their kid. Break the bank, sell the capital, anything, save my kid. People want healing. It's so interesting. It's so touching that Jesus comes into people's lives and touches their children and brings them back from the dead. Some of the best stories in all of literature is this. But we're going to start with the very first healings that we find written down in history, and they are in Genesis. And it's interesting, there's 5 healings in Genesis, even before a doctrine of healing is established. And you see if you can figure out what they all are. We have a healing in Genesis 20, verse 17. Sarah is in Gerar. She has been taken in by a pagan king in a country. Abraham, fearing for his life, doesn't want to get killed, because that's how they did. You want the wife, you kill the husband. That's just how the world was in 2000 BC. And I wish that had ended, but maybe it all hasn't. So he says, oh, she's my sister. So the king takes her in, and things go wrong with these people. Very wrong. And Abimelech is his name. That means father king in the ancient languages. Abimelech has a dream. God says to him, this isn't right, give her back. And she does. And, but during the time that they had Sarah in a place where she shouldn't be, Abimelech, his entire household, all the females go barren. Nobody has children. Nobody can get pregnant. And they returned Sarah to Abraham, and it says, and their wombs were opened again. That's an interesting picture, No children are coming in or getting out. That's it. The generation stops, but the wombs are opened again, and life returns to normal as they do what they're supposed to do. That's the first healing recorded in history. The second one we have is in Genesis 21. Right at the beginning of the chapter, Sarah is 99 years old. Abraham is told that he will be the father of many. He'll have more children than the stars in the sky, and today he does. But at the time, These people need to have children. His children and his grandchildren all are concerned about having children, and we have so much infertility. Sarah finally has a child at 99. And it's interesting, after she has this child, she looks at her handmaid who had one of Abraham's children and says, "Get her out of here." Isn't that strange? I thought ladies squabbling was kind of a new thing in history. All right, that's not fair, but anyhow. Yeah, so Sarah has a child at 99. This is a miracle child. In Genesis 25, verse 21, Rebekah is barren. She can't get pregnant. And Isaac, the husband, prays for her. And it says, and he prayed on her behalf, and she had Isaac. You're probably putting it together what these healings are in Genesis. The fourth one is, it says that God remembered Rachel. Now, God hadn't forgotten about her, but a woman in these days that can't have a baby, she feels like, I'm not even a member of the tribe, but God remembered her and gave her a child, and she had Joseph. And, they'd been together a while. Her older sister, you know the trick from Genesis, Laban the father wants to give Leah, and she has 7 children. It says because, it said this because she was unloved and she knew it. So God comforted her and gave her 7 children. And then Rachel, the one who is the mother of Joseph and Benjamin, she finally gets pregnant. And so you have, the story continues. But that's what's going on. I jumped. Leah is in Genesis 29, verse 30 and 31. She becomes pregnant, and she has her child. And it says that God did this because she wasn't loved. So you've got 4 of these now. And the 5th healing that we find in the book of Genesis is chapter 30, verses 22 and 23. It says, God remembered Rachel and opened her womb. And I kind of jumped orders here. But you see these 5 healings in Genesis. Now the obsession in Genesis, the obsession in the state of California in the late 1840s was let's go get gold. The obsession in Pennsylvania when oil was discovered, we're finding oil. The obsession in the South is we've got to bring in the cotton harvest. What is the obsession in these certain places? Well, the obsession in this time was land. God's going to take us to a land. God told Abraham, I'll go to the land that I will show you. The second obsession is seed. Well, our children need to be realized. They need to be born, and we have to have them, or we're not going to have a country. And a third thing is there needs to be blessing. Land, seed, and blessing. Well, the second one involved their bodies. They had to have children. So the big problem here is barrenness. The big breakthrough is pregnancy. And the great blessing is the children and God blessing them. Jacob is wrestling with an angel. I'm not going to let go of you until you bless me. They want lad, they want seed, and they want blessing. The seed requires pregnancy. It requires children being born. And God does his first 5 healings in history right here in the middle of their greatest need. And, ask yourself, what is your greatest need? What do you need? Does Auntie have pancreatic trouble? Do your children have bone issues? Are there people in your family with stomach issues, headaches, neck pain? What is it? And just like in Genesis, God is right there in the middle of your concern. And I've written 3 books on healing, and we could get all fancy and stuff, but I don't like talking chemicals and all kinds of government solutions which don't exist. Sit with God. Sit with him and get your answer. sit with him and get your healing. Call his name and say, God, I need you to touch my life. And I need it right now. I need it today. I don't want to go on without your blessing. Well, this is Dr. Drake, and this is the beginning of a series, and we'll be doing many more of these. So until next time, be well in his name.